Well, what do we have here? It looks like a chicken burger, but not just your own typical chicken burger. This burger was actually homemade in my kitchen in the back. 100% pure chicken thighs burger. So stay tuned, I'll show you how I did it.
If looks could kill, if looks could kill.
Welcome back. So, one of the things I really love is that Mariano's has these chicken burgers like spinach mozzarella, spinach feta, buffalo chicken. So I started trying to figure out how I can make it at home for a fraction of the cost, of course, because we're trying to save money, and how fast I can do it. That way it's not so time consuming and whatever. So I found the easiest way to do it is to buy some chicken thighs, grind them up, add your own seasonings or whatever you want. That way you can control what's in it because you never know what they put in their chicken burgers, but at least you can make them at home a lot healthier. So here's the recipe.
Okay, so the ingredients we're going to need is some boneless chicken thighs, some liquid egg whites, some salt, some garlic powder, some onion powder, some paprika. So now for the procedure. It's quite simple. All we're going to do is to start off is take our chicken thighs and start breaking them down into smaller strips, almost like chicken tenders. You want them broken down so the machine, the grinder, I should say, will grind it up a lot easier. The bigger they are, it's harder to push it through the machine. You don't want the machine to work super hard to break down your chicken. So by cutting it into strips, it's going to make it easier to feed it down the feeding tube to start the grinding process. So just take your time. Make sure you leave the fat on because the fat's going to give the burger more flavor, of course. It's not just protein. You need the protein and the fat for flavor. Next, we're going to start grinding it. So now you can see you take one tender at a time and start pushing it through. This process is pretty fast, depending on how strong your machine is. Here I'm using a regular meat grinder I bought on, I believe it was Etsy or was it Overstock? One of the two. Either way, all you need is something that is just going to grind it down. For me, this one works very well. I just push a little bit, let it start feeding itself. The whole process takes probably, I would say, 2 minutes, but it's really relaxing actually because it's just you're taking your time, letting the machine do all the work. You don't have to grind this by hand or to chop it up to mince it to make it this small would just take too much work. So by using the machine, it just breaks it down into a perfect grind. You can see the fat still in there and the protein. This would not work if you use chicken breasts because chicken breasts are too lean. So there'll be no fat. So no fat, no flavor. You really want something with a little bit of fat, a little bit of extra flavor to it. You could even use chicken legs, but I like the boneless chicken thighs because I get them at a really good price. So it helps keep the recipe well priced where I'm not really worrying too much about it. Moving the bowl around helps. That way it keeps the pile evenly distributed. That way the bowl doesn't just bend over or tip over actually. So just keep on pressing it down. The feeding tube, just be careful never to put your fingers down it. I mean, it's almost impossible because you can see the feeding tube is really long. So just by easily just pushing it down and just letting it just take it apart by itself. This whole process is pretty quick. Now use your spatula to get every piece off. We're going to add our liquid egg whites. We're going to add about 2 pinches of kosher salt. This is all you need. You could always season the burgers after if you feel they need more salt. Now we're going to sprinkle a little bit of the paprika, a little bit of the garlic powder, some onion powder. Now you just have to mix it together. The mixing process is pretty simple. You just want to make sure that the seasoning is well distributed and that the egg whites are all mixed in. The egg whites are your binder. Notice that we did not use any breadcrumbs or any artificial binders because you don't need it. You want the burgers to be as lean and as healthy as possible. And by adding egg whites, you're adding more protein. Now it's time to portion them. You can see first I sprayed the pan. Spraying the pan just keeps it from sticking. I'm using a spoon. I roughly already know what size they are. They're 200 grams raw weight. 200 grams raw weight gives me about 42 to almost 50 grams of protein. So that's what I try to keep my servings at. That way I know when I cook these later and or microwave them for my meal prep that they're exactly the size I wanted them. Just take your time getting them all about evenly as possible. You could always weigh it out if you really wanted to, but I feel that you really don't need to. You can kind of eyeball this to like a normal burger patty. Spray the top, that way they don't stick in the pan. Now I'm going to use 2 pans to keep this process moving as fast as possible. One's a cast iron and one's a basic skillet. I spray both pans, that way the burgers don't stick to it. Now I'm going to start cooking them. I'm going to give them enough space in between each other so the cooking process is as even as possible. I want to make sure that the burgers cook evenly all the way through. And basically what I'm doing here is getting my sear. There's no way you can finish this burger on top on the stove. It would take too long. So what you're trying to do is sear both sides. Searing is the art of sealing in the flavor. I want to get that nice, good sear on the bottom, and then I'm going to flip them over and sear them on the other side. I'm going to cook them about 4 minutes on each side. Now it's time to flip them. When I flip them is when I actually press down on them and make my shape. I like them being kind of rustic, not perfectly round, because it shows that they're homemade. I've always thought that, when you see a perfect burger, perfectly round, I always associate that it's one of those frozen patties. So I like to make mine kind of rustic as I can. So I just flip them, as you can see, push down with my little metal spatula to make sure that they sear evenly on both sides. Next, I'm going to turn on my oven because, like I said, there's no way you can finish it on top. The oven's set to 400 degrees with the fan on. I'm going to throw them in and let them cook for exactly another 10 minutes. This is going to ensure that they're cooked 100% all the way through and we don't have any raw chicken. It's time to pull them out. You can see they're nicely cooked. I mean, they look good. Now, again, as you can see, I'm using a mitt to pull them out the oven because those handles are hot. Don't get burned. Here you see that they're nicely cooked all the way through. You can see how juicy they are because it's chicken thighs.
So hopefully you like the video. As you can see, it's not that many ingredients. It's quite easy to make them. Of course, you need the meat grinder. That's a big, thing that you need. There's also meat grinder attachments you can use if you have a stand mixer or other kind of small handheld grinders. So, I mean, if you have it, then you can make it. So, as always, hit subscribe, leave us a comment, hit like, refer this video or share this video with your friends so it can help us grow. Till next time, love you. Bye.